Be like my camera was foggy. Looks cleaner now. We can do a Bible study. I love that there's a delay with the live stream. That usually means I can like call the shots before they happen. Like, like Sarah Culver's going to make a wisecrack about me looking at the camera or something like that. So anyway, but hey, you got to play the odds. She actually has to show up to Bible study too. Good morning, Susan and Lisa and Dad. Hi, you guys. So anywho, let's see here. We're in Genesis. Okay. Anyway, so where did we get to? Oh, she was 21. I think we got down to 21 yesterday. So, or Saturday. Oh, you know what? Watch this. I gotta turn on my lamp. That helps. Y'all gotta talk to my dad about the GoFundMe he's starting. Okay, he's not actually starting a GoFundMe, but he found some like recording equipment, like for pretty cheap, like not a huge investment or anything, but just a couple lights and stuff. It's like that could actually be kind of helpful to have a nice, clear recording when we come to do our Bible study together. So, hey, the gang's all here. Hey, Rick and Alejandra. Let's go. Verse 22. So it was when the camels had finished drinking that the man took a gold nose ring weighing half a shekel and 2 bracelets for her wrists weighing 10 shekels of gold, and said, "Whose daughter are you? Tell me, please, is there room in your father's house for us to lodge?" Kind of an interesting thought is, here is Rebekah, and she's serving, right? And we talked about that on Saturday, this idea of like serving and serving hard and expecting that, yeah, if I'm going to serve God, it's going to cost me some time. Heaven forbid, some money. I'm just saying, like, yeah, that I love him, and giving to him is not a hardship, and he would never ask for me to give in a way that would hurt me. It might cost me. It might push me, but it's never going to hurt me. And this is why, is because you cannot outgive God. You're never going to show up in heaven and somehow feel like you've got like, something coming to you, because you did so much good work. No, God always seems to bless us in return. Now, this doesn't mean if you give $10, God's giving you 100, right? That's just dumb. But God does bless financially often. I'm just saying that there's no recipe we get to follow, and no one gets to talk about sowing a seed of faith and, or God will bless your finances and rid you of your debt. That sounds like a charlatan. But here, she feeds the camels. I got a text message distracted me. She feeds the camels, gives them the water, right? And then he gives her a gold nose ring and 2 bracelets, 10 shekels of gold each. She got paid. She got paid well. Now, did she have any clue that this payment was coming? No, not at all. Right? And I think this is the key, right? Is we serve God because we want to, because we love him, because I don't know what else I would do with myself. Last night at church, we didn't know if Oksana was going to make it or not. She had been in a retreat, so we assumed she wasn't going to be there. And put out a church announcement that, we don't think we have any help for children's ministry. And, when it got down to it, it's like, well, I'll go. And then when I talked to Caleb, and Caleb was willing to go wherever I told him to go. So he's a soldier. You tell him what to do, and he doesn't like kids. Oh, don't tell the single girls that. No, I'm sure he'll be a great father. But he just says, like, put me anywhere but kids ministry. But when I told him, like, you know what? Lesser of 2 evils. We're either not going to have worship or we're not going to have slides. Probably just better not to have slides. So Caleb, you got to go. And he's like, okay, I'm willing to go. And we wouldn't have had a live stream either because Caleb's the one who runs the live stream. But then I was like, well, wait a minute, I'll figure out how to do the live stream. And Caleb's like, well, why are you going to do the live stream? I said, well, because I can. Caleb had it on his mind, and I could see why. He's like, well, you know what? Just tell the people they don't get a live stream because no one stepped up, and I'm going downstairs. And he apologized this morning for saying, I think I was in the flesh a bit last night. But what I told him was, you know what? That's the thing, though, Caleb, is that maybe not doing the live stream would have taught some people a lesson that, it's like, yeah, when there's a need, people need to rise up. I go, but when there's a need and I can do it, I'm going to do it. It's not because I'm the pastor. It's because I love God, and that's just become how I do life. When we moved to Grandview, we started a home Bible study, and the same week or the next week there was a youth study that Anthony Ramirez asked if we could have a youth Bible study at our house, and that thing turned into something crazy that really has changed my whole experience in Grandview. But at the time, I was the worship leader for Calvary Chapel Toppenish with the one and the only Dallas Sandoval. Now, I didn't start that way, though. Nicole and I are thinking, oh, this is a new season of life. We're going to be focusing on getting our house, because I bought a fixer-upper then, too. Get our house together, and then we'll have a Bible study, and we can focus on the Bible studies at our house, and when we go to Toppenish, we can just come and be fed. And I know that if you're listening to this, you've felt the same way. It'd be nice to just sit and be fed. I made it 10 minutes. 10 minutes into the service, and with opening worship, they were having an issue with the alignment of their slides, where like the words were too low and you couldn't see the bottom of the words. And they had a volunteer on the slide desk running PowerPoint. Well, within 10 minutes of the first service at Calvary Toppenish, I ran to the back of the room, and I'm clicking next slide while I'm editing the future slides. So I'm trying to edit the slides that are coming while I'm making sure we're on the right slide as we're going. And within a month or two, I don't remember exactly what it was, but I was the worship leader. Why? Well, because the person who was doing it knew there was someone else, and they decided to move on. I became the worship leader at the church where I was just going to sit and get fed. But it didn't take much longer than 10 minutes for me to realize I'm not satisfied with just sitting and getting fed. I want to be a part of what God's doing. I want to be a part of any time there's an opportunity. And I mean, you guys don't get to go with me to other places. I'll tell you just a few things about me. This is like testimony part 2, right? This is not about the old me that was dumb and stupid. It's about what God's doing today in you and in me. How our testimony is not just about how God saved us, but it's not what is he doing with me now that he has saved me. And it's like, you see me at any place, any pastor's conference. I go to the International Pastors Conference, which I'm missing this year because of all the craziness of moving and all that. But it's happening like in a couple weeks, and I'm not going to get to go. But like, it's at that International Pastors Conference that I befriended Tony Clark when we were fighting over who could have the very front center corner seat. And we battled back and forth on it, and it became kind of an inside joke between us, because I'm here with all the pastors whom I admire and adore, but I want to sit in the front row because I want to see and want to be a part of what God is doing. When I go to the pastors conference I just got back from last week, I'm the guy who usually makes coffee in the morning. And last year I ran up and I ran slides because the slide guy wasn't around. And I try and serve on the worship team if they could use me. I don't know. Maybe I just don't like sitting. Maybe it's like the lower back thing where I just don't like sitting in a chair and you all just love sitting through 45 minutes of talking. But I have a hard time staying still. And I don't think it's just because I like being active. It's just like, if there's some way I can be a part of something, I want to be a part of it. And so I remember, though, that no matter how much I desire to serve, no matter how much I want to give, no matter what I do, it's because I want to. And yet, God will never be my debtor. Every time I decide to give a little more, somehow or some way, he outgives me. I'm thinking, man, I'm going to feed 5 to 10 gallons to each of this guy's camels. And after 40 minutes of filling barrel cups and troughs and pulling up water from the well. Boom. The Holy Spirit, whom Eleazar, our unnamed servant in Genesis 24, is a picture of, he gives me a bunch of gold jewelry. And it's just like, wait a minute. I was just doing this to be a nice guy. And God says, no, I'm not going to be in your debt. I will always bless you. And so it's just a challenge for us to remember, I might feel like I'm sacrificing, but God always outblesses me. It might even be a sacrifice simply to wake up in the morning early enough so that you have enough time to hear God speak. I found it that I can't rush romance. There's no quickies with God. It actually takes time to get myself in the mood so that I'm willing to hear and listen and really pour my heart out before the Lord. But when I give God that time, he always blesses me. He never lets me outgive him. He always outgives me. So just remember, whenever, wherever, however you think you can give to God, trust he will always outgive you. He will always pay it back one way or another, but you will be satisfied and you will be blessed. And so don't let Satan steal that from you, okay? Don't let the enemy give you a hard heart where you miss out on the blessing. We made it one verse through the longest chapter of Genesis, but we're still making good headway. God bless you guys. I will see you tomorrow morning. Men's Bible study tonight. Might as well. I'll see you guys around.